Alright guys, today we're going to talk about Astolfo. Good old Astolfo. Never have I felt so betrayed. Let's make a girl. Let's make her real cute. And then let's give her a dick. Alright, so originally Astolfo's name appeared in the poem Chanson de Geste from the Matter of France cycle, but most of his fate info can be found in the subsequent work Orlando Furioso. So to start off, we have a man named Ruggiero that just landed on an island. He proceeds to tie up his ride to a nearby myrtle tree. Hey, get your funky hands off me. The tree then goes on to tell Ruggiero how he's actually Astolfo, an English prince and one of the 12 paladins of Charlemagne. Who are these paladins? The best of the best, the elite. Think of them as the equivalent to the Knights of the Round Table. When Charlemagne needs help, they're the ones that pull up in the minivan. He also tells Ruggiero that he's been transformed by an evil sorceress named Alcina. The witch would take various men as her lovers and then transform them whenever she got bored. She's done this to over 1,000 men. Ruggiero decides to help Astolfo out, but somehow he ended up falling for the same trap Astolfo did. Bruh, how you supposed to be the backup and you get caught too? Now you gotta call backup for the backup. Fortunately, a woman was able to outmaneuver Alcina and release Astolfo. She even got Astolfo's magic lance back that he had worn from Queen Angelica. My boy wasted no time getting out of there. This bitch is crazy. I gotta get away from this hoe. He then gets advice from Logistilla, who is Alcina's sister and just so happens to be the good sorceress. Look, Astolfo, this is what I want you to do. Pay attention when I'm talking to you, son. You see this book? It's a counterspell book. Does the trick every time. You see this horn? This is no ordinary horn, son. Scares away all men and all beasts. If you ever run into trouble, I want you to blow that sumbitch hard as you can. Astolfo makes his way back to Britain, but in all honesty, he really wanted to explore the world, so he decides to take a detour. He travels toward a canal in Egypt where he discovers Rabicano, an enchanted horse made of hurricane and flame. You know, cause that happens. Just a random magical horse sitting in the middle of fucking nowhere. Perfect. Astolfo hops on. He later received warnings about a giant named Caligarante who traps people in his path with a special net and then devours them. So Astolfo went to check it out. He pulls up to the giant's house and is decorated in human body parts. Caligarante is just chilling waiting for Astolfo to walk into the trap, but Astolfo blew his horn and scared him into his own trap. You, sir, are a clown. Astolfo felt so bad that he decided not to kill him and just made him a servant instead. He parades the giant through the city of Memphis and arrives in Cairo, Egypt. Here, he finds out about the immortal thief named Aurelio. Eventually, Astolfo formed a group, and after consulting with his team, he decides to use his counter spell book. The book says that Aurelio's power comes from his hair, so if Astolfo got rid of it, he would die. Astolfo manages to decapitate Aurelio, and while he rides off with his head, he removes the hair from his scalp. Fast forward through Astolfo's adventures, and he's stopped off to get something to drink. When he comes back, he finds out that someone stole his horse. Okay, who took my horse? This leads him to a magical castle where, through a series of events, he got his horse back. But he also discovers a creature called the hippogriff. What's a hippogriff? It's a legendary mythical beast. It's half horse, half bird, but it's called a hippo. Get it? Yeah, I don't either. Who comes up with this shit? Anyways, Astolfo gives Rabicano to a wandering knight and takes the hippogriff. We then enter a flashback that glossed over a story from Astolfo's past. Long story short, Astolfo gave his friend Giocondo a place to stay after finding out that his wife was cheating on him. When Astolfo got the news, he let Giocondo chill out in one of his rooms for a while. So Gio is getting settled in his room, and then he sees a crack in the wall. And when he looks through it, he sees Astolfo's wife getting hit from the back by a dwarf. I laughed for at least 10 minutes. Minimum. Eventually, he tells Astolfo, and they both come to the conclusion that these hoes ain't shit. So they were like, man, we should go on the journey and fuck 1,000 bitches each. Word to the base god. And they do it. I can't make this up. We return from the flashback, and while Astolfo rides the hippogriff all over the world, he stops in Ethiopia to meet Prester John. In the past, Prester got a little too full of himself and tried to conquer the land of God. But God was like, nah fam, you about to catch these hands. So God sent an angel that blinded Prester John and killed 100,000 of his men. On top of this, every day the king is haunted by harpies that either steal or contaminate all of his food, leaving him to starve. This time when the harpies come around, Astolfo blew them all away with his horn. But he doesn't just blow them away, he blows them all the way into a cave that's actually supposed to represent hell. After this, he ventures to a nearby mountain where St. John is located, not to be confused with Prester John. So St. John tells Astolfo that it's his destiny to go to the moon, find Orlando's sanity, and rescue the Christian faith. See, Orlando is the leader of the Paladins and Astolfo's cousin. He was supposed to be the defender of Christianity, but since his love interest, Angelica, the same Angelica, turned him down, he lost the proper mindset to carry out the mission. It is for this reason that St. John was counting on Astolfo to restore things to their natural order. So Astolfo and St. John roll up to the moon. In Furioso, the moon is noted to be the place where all things on earth can be retrieved. Astolfo finds the bottle of sanity, and in doing so, St. John rewarded him with a herb that will heal Prester John. Astolfo meets up with Prester again, cures his blindness, and the ruler was so happy that he gave Astolfo his army. Why the army? Well, during this time, Charlemagne was at war with Agramonte, who was ruler of the Saracens. Turns out Agramonte wanted revenge for the death of his father. While Agramonte was invading Paris, he gets a message that Astolfo is invading his land. He then decides to head back home in order to ensure that his territory doesn't fall. Meanwhile, Orlando has reunited with Astolfo. But what is this? He's ass naked and massacring everybody in his path. You know, I've heard of scenarios like this before, but I never knew this was an actual thing. Like, how do you fight somebody with their dick out? There's two swords you gotta look out for. Astolfo dressed as a woman in order to appease Orlando. They manage to hold him down, and Astolfo makes him sniff his wits back up his nose. With Orlando back to normal, they continue to invade more lands, and through this commotion, Astolfo ended up getting crushed under a boulder. Enraged, his men fought with all their might until there was nothing left of his enemies. That about wraps it up. If you enjoyed the video, please like it up so we can get this trending. Feel free to add information as you see fit, and let me know what you guys think about it. It's your boy Saya. I'm out.